What's up, everybody? It's Chris. I'm an alcoholic. So listen, I've been getting a lot of people talking to me about their situations with CPS, and I wanted to make a little video talking about that. So I wanted to read something out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous before I go into it very far. Hold on. So, sorry I had it. So, holla out to my one viewer. Anyway, so here's the thing about the CPS struggle, battle, is that, in 2009 is when my addiction took in the most, and I stopped caring about anything or anybody, even my children, even my wife and my kids. I didn't care anymore. Everything came to my main focus was just the drugs, the addiction, the alcoholism, and the lifestyle, because I loved the lifestyle. So in 2009, CPS come into my life, and I had actually been out of the penitentiary for 10 years. I didn't think I was going to go back. But the drug addiction then got in, so I was a functioning alcoholic addict, and then I started snowballing downhill and started realizing that I'm not a functioning alcoholic or addict anymore. I'm a full-fledged junkie. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing, right? Smoking, snorting, drinking, it's all the same thing. A junkie's a junkie. It doesn't matter. So that's what I found myself to be. And in 2009, I'm not going to say who, but one of my family members called CPS. So CPS got involved. When CPS got involved, I had no respect. I had no desire to quit drinking and drugging. This life wasn't for me. I wasn't an alcoholic addict. I didn't care about anything anybody had to say. So CPS made me go to drug rehab. Now, when I went to drug rehab, is actually Turning Point in Odessa, Texas. I went to rehab with the idea that I only had to do what these people wanted me to do, make them happy, then walk out, get custody back of my kids. Whoop, whoop. Here we are, back to the same story, doing the same things, continuing life as a functioning, non-functioning addict alcoholic. Well, got out of Turning Point, started getting a few rights back to the kids, and I started taking advantage of it. So I started smoking more weed, drinking more beer, and consuming the lifestyle a lot more. Well, CPS came back in and took my kids. When CPS took my kids that time, there was no saving me, because I had made a decision at that point that I gave it up. I didn't want to give up being a dad, but I didn't want to give up drinking or drugging either. So, I didn't want to, but I gave the kids up. That sounds hard, but that's what happened. I say that because the decisions I made that a reality. I did not give up my kids up here mentally, but I gave up my kids by my actions, and I continued to do that. Now, I didn't see the value to CPS coming into my life. I did not see that. Of course, I didn't see a lot of good, bad things I called in happen in my life for good reasons. I didn't see none of those things. A month after my kids were taken, I had got caught with possession of 4 more drugs, drinking and driving charge again, which was my 4th one. And it all came crashing down. CPS had control of the kids. And so, it was kind of a blessing to my wife, because my ex-wife now, because I got through in jail. That was the easiest route out, right? Because now all she had to do was tell everybody it was my fault. I was the bad guy. Boom, there it went. So that's what happened. When I went to jail, they came in, CPS came in, they gave my kids back to my wife because I'm in jail. I copped out with a prison sentence and got denied rights to my kids. Now, the denying the rights of the kids, there's a fine line, because if they take the rights completely away from me or you, then you no longer have to pay child support. So if you still pay child support, your rights have not been taken. Now, they're going to say you don't have the right to see your kid. This is what they told me. I don't have the right to visit my kids. And then, it's a process from that point on. So I did my little 16 months in state jail this time. And I got out with the reality that I couldn't see my kids. So it had already been almost 2 years since I'd seen my kids. And I love my kids intently. I'm going to tell you that. Well, I decided to keep drugging and abusing drugs and alcohol when I got released out of the penitentiary because I had nothing left to lose. Why straighten up if there's no... See, and I was neglecting me at the whole time. Like, I'm not good enough for sobriety. Wow. So I neglected my self-sobriety because I didn't feel like there was any reason to be sober. Like, I didn't think that life was good enough to continue without my kids and with my family. I got news for you. That is not the truth at all. Today, I'm grateful that I made the decision to clean up. Now, let me tell you what happened when I cleaned up. 1 year after I cleaned up, after I got in sobriety, out of the blue, this is how God works in my life. Out of the blue, CPS called me. Because there was still an ongoing case with my wife, whatever, ex-wife, whatever have you. And they said, do you want to be a part of your kid's life? I was paying child support. That's what they wanted. And I said, yes. Yes, I do. And it's real strange because after a year in recovery, I had barely started accumulating things again. So I had just gotten a house. I mean, none of it was ready for kids. Nothing was ready. And all of a sudden, God throws this joy of the possibility of being a part of my kids' lives again. So shoot, yeah, I was ready for that. And it made everything. So I sobered up for me. And then when I get out of the middle of nowhere, there was no warning shots, nothing. It was just boom. Got a phone call one day, said, do you want to be a part of your kids' life? And of course, that's what I had been fighting for since I had gotten straight right out of the penitentiary, and what I had missed the whole time I was gone this last time to the penitentiary. So, needless to say, even though they said that I had no more rights to my kids, I couldn't see my kids, I started the process again, but this time, I wasn't being forced. I didn't have nobody holding my hand, tell me I had to. What I had was, I had the desire now to start being a part of my kids' life, which I never wanted to stop being to begin with. So now I took the bull by the horns and I started doing what these people asked me to do, which wasn't hard because I was already doing it. I was already in this walk, in this sobriety and success walk. I was already there. I had already realized that I wanted better in my life than to die an alcoholic or a drug addict. Regardless if I got custody or fought for my kids or any of that stuff, I had made it. See, God wanted me to realize that until I did this thing, this successful life, until I started this life of success for myself, I wasn't going to get anything out of it. And I did. I fought my butt off. I made every visitation they asked me to. I did every class they wanted me to. I was already established in this community that I already built a new family with. I was in a new town. I mean, I'm doing all these new great things. I don't have to tell CPS to look at me. This is what I'm doing, because it's apparent now when we do the right thing. People see, people notice, and people realize. So if this is my word of advice to anybody dealing and fighting with CPS right now. CPS is a great thing, I'm going to tell you why. We are extremists as alcoholic drug addicts, and they are extremists at CPS. Some of them are more extreme than others. But guess what? It makes me become it made me become a better parent, a better witness, a better story, a more successful story, by continuing to do what they asked, which wasn't hard because I'm already doing it. Now, does this mean that every case is going to work out like mine? No, probably not. Probably not. But this means that if we change our lives today, if I change my life today and it's already going good, I'm going to be able to accept, deal, and handle anything that comes with that, because I know that God is not going to give me anything that I cannot handle. God is not going to put anything on my shoulders that I can't carry around. So I fought. I continued doing what they asked me to do, and I stayed on that path, and I'm still on it. And by the grace of God, 1 year after I started participating, I got custody of my kids again. I got full custody of my kids. And the other parent, they pay me custody now. That's pretty good for someone with tattoos on half of his face, 5 felony convictions, and 4 times to the penitentiary. That's great. That's the most awesome thing that ever could happen in my life, man. And thank God for that. All 4 of you guys watching this video, smash that like button. You know, if I continue on this path of righteousness, righteous things are going to happen in my life, in your life, in all of our lives. If we just keep the hope, if we just keep the power and the strength flowing in the spirituality and increasing and bettering our lives. You see, the problem is that everybody wants to get clean and sober for their kids. I hear that time and time again. Why do you want to get sober for your kids? Get sober for you. Make this reality for you. Make this success a part of you. And guess what? When I make that a part of my life, it now becomes for my kids. It now becomes for the family. And now everybody else comes next. But if I cannot love me inside, if I personally cannot love me, I cannot love my kids. I cannot love my family. I say I care, but I really don't. So until I can realize that if I don't love me, I can't love anybody, then none of this is going to work. This successful life isn't going to work. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's CPS case will end up like mine. But if I know my God, if I know your God, if I know our God does spectacular things, man. And if you can look like me, if you can have felony convictions like I got, and you can straighten up your life, it's probably going to become a reality in your life as well. No promises, but I can promise you this. God said if we're painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we're halfway through. So as long as I continue this path of successfulness, then successful and righteous things will continue to happen. And if that happens to be kids coming back into our life, then that's what happens. That's what happened for me. And I hope that's what happens for you. And listen, that was the end of the CPS story for me. Because once I got out and I changed my life and I did this fix for me, I got custody of my kids back. There was no more question of rights or who's dad. Or I still get questions today, and I already got a grandbaby now. My kids are out of the house. I mean, one of my kids is out of the house. The other one's here still with me. And I still get questioned today, and people are like, you have custody of your kids? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Even if my daughter is on her own, in her own house, I still got custody. Now I got a grandbaby. I'll never be able to get custody of him, but while he's at my house, he's in my custody. And today, that's a great thing in my life, is that my kid had a kid, and now I'm a part of my kid's life. So if you want to be a part of your kid's life and a part of your grandkid's life, then fix yourself today. Fix yourself for you. Find out what it is you need to do to change your life. And then let that roll off on to other people. I just want to end today with a little prayer. Say, God, thank you for CPS. Thank you for people coming in and making me a better adult and a better parent. For I did not know what to do on my own. And I need to reach out to more successful people with helpful suggestions suggestions, with healthy thoughts, with healthy actions to help push me through and persevere some of these experiences and trials that I'm going through and that everybody watching is going through, Lord. And we just ask that you continue pushing us in the right path so that we may be able to get all of those treasures that you offer, Lord. In your name, amen. So listen, guys, if you like what you hear and you want to hear more of what I got to say, to smash that like button and subscribe today. I'm Chris. I'm an alcoholic. 11 19 12. I'm cashing out.